Jerusalem, Jerusalem, murderer of prophets, killer of the one who brought you the good news. Religious fashion show. It's Matthew 23, verse 1. Now Jesus turned to address his disciples, along with the crowd that had gathered with them. The religion scholars and the Pharisees are competent teachers in God's law. You won't go wrong in following their teachings on Moses, but be careful about following them. They talk a good line, but they don't live it. They don't take it into their heart and live it out in their behavior. It's a spit-shine veneer. Instead of giving you God's law as food and drink by which you can banquet on God, they package it all up in a bundle of rules, loading you down like pack animals. They seem to take great pleasure in watching you stagger under these loads and wouldn't think of lifting a finger to help. Their lives are a perpetual fashion show. Embroidered prayer shawls one day and flowery prayers the next. They love to sit and be the head of the table at church dinners, basking in the most prominent positions, preening in the radiance of public flattery, receiving honorary degrees, and being called doctor or vicar or reverend. But Jesus warns about putting people on a pedestal in Matthew 23, verse 8. Don't let people do that to you. Put you on a pedestal like that. You all have a single teacher, and you're all classmates. Don't set people up as experts over your life, letting them tell you what to do. Save that authority for God. Let Him tell you what to do. No one else should carry the title of Father. You have only one Father, and He's in heaven. And don't let people maneuver you into taking charge of them. There is only one life leader for you and for them, Christ. Do you want to stand out? Then step down. If you puff yourself up, you'll get the wind knocked out of you. But if you are simply content by yourself, your life will count for plenty. Jesus says He's had it with you. Religious leaders, that is. Well, in Matthew 23, He says just that. Verse 13. I've had it with you. You're hopeless. You religion scholars, you Pharisees, frauds. Your lives are roadblocks to God's kingdom. You refuse to enter, and you won't let anyone else in either. You're hopeless. You religion scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You go halfway around the world to make a convert. But once you get him, you make him a replica of yourselves. Double damned. You're hopeless. What arrogant stupidity. You say if someone makes a promise with his fingers crossed, that's nothing, but if he swears with his hand on the Bible, that's serious? What ignorance! Does the leather on this Bible carry more weight than the skin on your hands? And what about the piece of trivia? If you shake hands on a promise, that's nothing, but if you raise your hand that God is your witness, that's serious? What ridiculous hairspray. What difference does it make whether you shake hands or raise your hand? A promise is a promise. What difference does it make if you make your promise inside or outside a house of worship? A promise is a promise. God is present, watching, and holding you accountable regardless. Would you say religion is full of frauds? Well, in Matthew 23, verse 23, Jesus is warning you, because it is. You're hopeless. Religion scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You keep meticulous account books, tithing on every nickel and dime you get, but on the meat of God's law. Things like fairness and compassion and commitment, the absolute basics. You carelessly take it or leave it. Careful bookkeeping is commendable, but the basics are required. Do you have any idea how silly you look writing a life story that's wrong from start to finish? Nitpicking over commas and semicolons. You hopeless religion scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You buff the surface of cups and bowls so that they sparkle in the sun, while the insides are maggoty with your greed and gluttony. Stupid Pharisees, scour the insides, then the gleaming surface will at least mean something. When we build our heroes up, there's always a likelihood that they can disappoint. And Jesus warns of this in Matthew 23, verse 27. You hopeless, you religion scholars and Pharisees, frauds, you're like manicured grave plots. The grass is clipped, the flowers are fresh and bright, but 6 feet down, it's all rotten bones and worm-ridden flesh. People look at you and think you're saints, but beneath the skin, you're total frauds. Jesus warns us about comparing ourselves to others in Matthew 23, verse 29. You hopeless religion scholars and Pharisee frauds. You build granite for tombs, for your prophets, and marble monuments for the saints. And you say, if you'd lived in the days of your ancestors, no blood would have been on your hands? You protest too much. You're cut from the same cloth as those murderers, and daily add to the death count. Snakes! Cold-blooded sneaks! Do you think you can worm your way out of this? Never having to pay the piper? It's on account of people like you that I send prophets and wise guides and scholars, generation after generation, and generation after generation. You treat them like dirt, greeting them with lynch mobs and hounding them with abuse. This is Matthew 23, it's verse 35. Jesus lays down the law. You can't squirm out of this one. Every drop of righteous blood ever spilt on earth, beginning with the blood of that good man Abel, right down to the blood of Zechariah, Barachiah's son, whom you murdered at his prayers, is on your head. All this, I'm telling you, is coming down on you, on your generation. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, why are you always the center of attention? There's not a news day that goes past where they're not talking about you. Well, Jesus in Matthew 23 gives this warning. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, murderer of prophets, killer of the one who brought you the good news. How often I've ached to embrace your children, the way a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you wouldn't let me, and now you're so desolate, nothing but a ghost town. What is there left to say? Only this, I'm out of here soon. The next time you see me, you'll say, oh, God has blessed him. He's come bringing God's rule. Jesus coming back to Jerusalem. Like I said, why are they always in the news? Everyone will acknowledge him. And I don't deny it. I told you he's undeniable. You're going to see more and more turning to him rather than denying it. And that is the reason to keep up the positive.